What's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. So I just got done seeing the Marvels in theaters, and oh my god, I am so confused about what movie people are going out in theaters and seeing and saying, oh my god, this is one of the worst things ever, and oh my god, Marvel is dying. That movie was fun, okay? I don't know what people were expecting this movie to be. I'm assuming that part of the reason why so many people are hating on it is because they had really high expectations for it. That movie was great. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going into full defensive mode right now. I have seen negative review after negative review after negative review after negative review of this movie. I've only seen a couple of people out there saying that it's great. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think it's a really good movie. I think that it's a whole lot of fun. I think it's significantly better than a lot of the superhero movies that have come out this year. Obviously, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which are better. But I think aside from those movies, this might be one of the best superhero movies that has come out this year. So to talk about it, first off, I want to go ahead and say this. I really enjoyed the movie and I absolutely loved it, and I had an absolute blast watching it. And that being said, since I'm going to be talking about it and it's something that I really like, spoiler warning for those of you guys who don't want to see this. Yeah, if you want to know what I really liked about it, just real quickly, simply before I get into all the spoilery stuff, Kamala Khan, absolutely fantastic. Everything about her character is perfect in this. The dynamic between the three actresses is really, really good. They have a great chemistry. They bounce off of each other really, really well. And there are some fun training sequences together between them where they get to work together. We get to see them working together. And the action sequences where they are body swapping is so much fun. I think that the first 25 minutes of this movie might have some of the funnest action sequences I've seen in a really long time. It's not by any means going to be like changing the wheel or recreating anything. Like it's not anything 100% new or original, but it's so fun. The way that they edit the things together, the way that they are all in 3 different locations fighting a group of bad guys, and then because of their body swapping, they're also taking bad guys to these different locations with them. It is such an interesting and dynamic fight sequence that is insanely cool, and I think it's one of the most fun fight sequences I've seen in the entirety of the MCU. And a lot of people have been talking crap about the villain. I think that the villain is significantly better than the villain from WandaVision, the villain from Miss Marvel, and the villain from Captain Marvel 1. I think that it's a pretty solid villain. I don't think that by any means they're going to be one of the best villains ever, and you're going to walk out there being like, oh my god, that villain was right. They're so cool. They are amazing. But like, it's a solid villain performance by that actress. And for the most part, you understand why the villain's doing everything that they're doing, and it's fully justified. I don't understand why that's one of the biggest complaints about this movie is the villain sucking. I don't think that was a problem. And now my last little thing I'm going to say before I get into the more spoilery stuff. I think that one of the only problems I had with this movie was it wasn't long enough. That's the only thing that I think that this movie struggled with. And now with that being said, let's dive into some of the more spoilery stuff.
Modded movie review.
Okay, first of all, I want to go and say that's really weird. I've never had that intro this late into the video because I accidentally went on to a total tangent and I did not mean to do that at all. But like I said, I'm going into full defensive mode of this movie. I thought it was great. It was everything I wanted this movie to be. I think that Marvel's advertising as of lately for some of the like later promos and stuff that have came out for this movie, completely unnecessary. You should have advertised this movie as exactly what it was. A fun movie that was Freaky Friday-esque and characters body swapping. Like, I thought it was fantastic, and it lived up to pretty much everything I wanted it to be. There were some cool action sequences. There are a lot of moments where characters who can't fly all of a sudden were falling out of the sky, and then they had to quickly save each other. What's it called? You see the one shot in the trailer where, Miss Marvel is falling out of the sky or whatever, and Photon's trying to save her and catch her or whatever. That happens a couple of different times in the movie, and I always was caught so off guard by it happening because they didn't know how to control their body swapping, and sometimes Captain Marvel is flying around using her powers all willy-nilly, and Miss Marvel's trying to use her powers a single time, and all of a sudden she's falling out of the sky. And I think that the way that they did that was so interesting, and I really like the way that they did that. For one, I think that Nick Fury in this, so good. I love Samuel L. Jackson, and I enjoyed parts of the Secret Invasion show, mostly the first 2 episodes. And I think that this is a great return for him. He's so much fun in this. He's one of the best supporting characters. Every time he comes on screen, he has stuff to say. He adds a lot to the story, and he adds a lot of that charm that he has. The Kamala Khan family, so much fun. They are literally so funny almost every time. Once again, every time they're on screen, they are hilarious. They're incredible. They actually add a good amount of stuff to the story. I feel like a lot of the stakes actually comes from them being worried about their daughter, which I think is great. Like, I think that that's fantastic. The dynamic between the 3 main characters is fantastic. I absolutely love them. I like the fact that they are trying to like understand each other and try to get like a better idea of like their superheroes and why they're superheroes and stuff like that. Captain Marvel is really conflicted because she did something really, really wrong, and she's always tried to kind of, you know, fix her mistake, but she's never been able to fix her mistake, and she's been like holding on to all of this like dread for 30 years, and she's had all this guilt, and I think that it actually retroactively kind of helps her character for every other project she's been in. I feel like in what's it called, in Endgame, a lot of people were kind of like complaining about her character. This kind of gives you almost everything you needed to know about why her character has been as stoic and as distant as she's been. I think that she was great in this. I like the fact that she's more of a mysterious character because she's been all over the cosmics or whatever, and they go to that one planet that is mostly water or whatever, and she's actually secretly the princess of that planet. And I think that that's so much fun. She's somebody who's been missing for 30 years. Give her some weird backstory, some weird things that she's been doing in those 30 years. And I thought that that was fantastic. I love the fact that they did that. I like the way that they use flashbacks to tell a story here. They put on one of the like little scroll memory devices, and some people will be like, that's such like a big plot device, and they're literally just using that to tell the story. In my opinion, I think that that's better than when they did it in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and they're just like, here's this technology that'll show you any memory of whatever. Like, this is technology we already knew existed in the MCU. It's not like they're getting something that is just, you know, a plot device. Like, yes, it's a plot device, but it's also not a plot device. And the way that they don't know how to use it, and that's why they get some of the bad memories that they get, and that's why we get this storytelling of why Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel are kind of like not on the same page. Very, very interesting. And I like the fact that Kamala Khan is able to help them kind of get their relationship back on track, to kind of like bring them together. I think that this trio works insanely, insanely well. And I think that part of it is because Kamala Khan is just such a great character. She's somebody who's bubbly. She's somebody who has a lot of energy. She's somebody who's super excited to be there. And because of that, she's helping these people who are Captain Marvel's probably exhausted. She's tired of being a hero. She doesn't necessarily want to keep doing it, but she's realizing that there are people who look up to her, and she's actually like being a good person. I think that Captain Marvel feels so much guilt for some of the mistakes that she's made in her past, and Miss Marvel is helping her realize she's having a good impact on the world, which I think is fantastic. And then I think Photon's character development in this is pretty interesting. I don't think we get enough from her character, in my opinion. I think that it kind of sucks because of the three, she's kind of the one who gets sidelined the most. And then when they do something at the end of the movie, oh wait, that's right, I've given a spoiler warning already. When she gets stuck in another dimension, it's kind of like, well, crap, I would care a little bit more, but she's the character who's had the least character development so far in this movie. And it kind of sucks because the majority of her arc is just forgiving Captain Marvel for everything that Captain Marvel, you know, has done or whatever. But like at the same time, we didn't get a lot about who she is as a character, and it really bothers me because like she's one of the main characters in this, and she still just feels like a sidelined character. And then they set her up in a way that she's probably going to go be a sideline character in some other X-Men related movie that we don't like. We're not probably not going to care that much about. That being said, obviously, I have no idea. I don't know where she's going to show up next. I don't know what they're setting up for her or another universe now, because there's going to be a whole nother universe. And I will say this. I think that some of the setup towards the end of the movie does feel a little forced, but I think it makes sense to do what they're doing. I think that Marvel's finally giving us the X-Men, which is something people have been wanting for forever, and Marvel's finally setting up a new Avengers team, which is stuff that people have been wanting for forever. So I don't understand why so many people are complaining because, oh my god, Marvel needs to quit with the post-credit scenes, and oh my god, they need to stop setting up things for future events, and oh my god, they're just making this movie so that they can put a post-credit scene on it. They're not. If you watch the movie, you'll probably enjoy it. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and say this flat out. It is a funny movie. There are some cool action sequences. Yeah, the stakes might not be very high for the majority of the movie, but there are some sequences where, oh my god, it feels like shit could go horribly wrong. There's a sequence where Kamala Khan has something happening to her. I don't know how to describe it without it sounding really weird, but there's a sequence where it seems like Kamala Khan could get seriously, seriously injured, and that, to me, actually felt stressful. Like, it wasn't when she was falling out of the sky. It was kind of the main villain had her and kind of had her pinned in a way that she, you know, could seriously have hurt her. And that, to me, had tension. I think that they did a really good job of kind of like making us a little stressed out right there. I think that was great. I've seen a lot of people complaining about this movie being cringy, and one of the only sequences that I would understand potentially being cringy is the sequence where they go onto a random planet that everybody communicates through song. And all I'm going to say is this is a movie from comic book characters, and I don't know if you know this, comics typically comedic, and also it's so fiction. Like, it's supposed to be fake. It's supposed to be something that's supposed to be fun. It's something that's supposed to be like all colorful, and it's supposed to be something that's not realistic. And it bothers me because so many people are like, oh, this sequence is so cringy when they're having to like sing and communicate or whatever. And it's like, it's a 5-minute sequence, and for the most part, it's them poking fun at the fact that this different planet, they speak through communication, they speak through singing. And I think that it's funny, and I think that's great, and I think that it's a cool way to make it where Brie Larson, who's an incredible singer, has to sing in the movie. I thought that was actually really funny. And I thought it was cool. I like that they're showing us different parts of the universe, because we have stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy where they go around to different universes, and for the most part, almost every universe kind of feels like, oh, it's just Earth, but with this instead, or oh, it's just Earth, but with this instead. And this one is a culturally colorful planet, and they sing. And I think that that's fun because music is such a cool device to use in movies, and I think that the music in this movie is pretty fun. I think that the sound of design in this movie is fun, and I think that for the most part all the CGI hits. I don't think there's any specific moments that I can think of where the CGI isn't that good. I don't know. Personally, I thought that this movie was great. If you enjoy the sequences of Spider-Man going to space in the Captain America in Avengers Infinity War, if you love the sequences with Spider-Man going into outer space, you would enjoy this movie because that's pretty much what it is. It's Kamala Khan going to space with a couple of different superheroes, trying to become a superhero, really wanting to be an Avenger, and that's basically very similar to the arc that Kamala Khan has in this movie. And if you look at her as the main character, it is a great movie. Obviously, like I said, one of my main problems with it is we don't have a lot of time. And then one of the big things is with the pacing, it's so fast-paced. They're at this planet. Then they're showing flashbacks from 30 years ago when Carol did this thing that's really, really cool. And then there's this thingy going on. And then there's this thingy going on. And it all happens so fast. And then towards the end, there's a line where Photon's just like, these last couple of days have been incredible. And it's like, because of everything being so fast-paced, you didn't know it was days. And I'm kind of like, I wish they just had like a couple of more sequences with just the three of them on their spaceship bonding, like literally just having like conversations, maybe having heart-to-hearts about like, why they're superheroes, or like Kamala Khan is a very interesting character. And I feel like there definitely could have been more interactions with her, with like Photon, and like, figuring out, why she's a superhero. And Photon explains that she gets her powers by going into a witch's hex, and Miss Marvel is completely unfazed by that, but I feel like that is a little bit of like a weird thing, because I feel like Kamala Khan would be like, oh my god, a witch hex? What? Oh my god, there's witches, and oh my god this, and oh my god that, and oh my god, and like, I feel like there wasn't enough moments, like, I'm gonna compare it to Spider-Man No Way Home for a second. Spider-Man No Way Home, some of the best sequences in that movie are when the three Spider-Men are just talking about being heroes together for like a solid like 4 or 5 minutes. I feel like more movies need stuff like that, because for one, it could be an interesting way to set up what Monica Rambeau has been doing since, WandaVision. It could set up what Miss Marvel has been doing since Miss Marvel, and it could kind of just fill in some gaps about some things that we might not know about. But other than that, I think that the movie was solid. I had a blast watching it, and I stand by everything that I've said so far. I think it was a pretty good movie. I'm going to give it a solid 78 out of 100. Like I said, has a couple of flaws here and there. It's a little too fast, but I love what they do with it. And then the final sequence, oh my god, mirroring Iron Man 1's post-credit scene and having like the Nick Fury scene where they're at the person's apartment and they are like, you just became a part of a bigger world and you just didn't know it yet. And it's Kamala Khan recruiting Kate Bishop for the Avengers. I'm incredibly excited about it. I really have been wanting to see what our next Avengers lineup is going to be looking like, and setting up the fact that there's going to be Kamala Khan, there's going to be Kate Bishop, and there's going to be, Cassie Langs, which they still haven't said what her superhero name is, so part of me wants to say Stature, but it might not be Stature, so I don't know. But I'm excited for it. And personally, I really think that the next Avengers movie or whatever is going to be a Young Avengers movie, and it's going to be the three of them. Yelena Belova, Spider-Man's probably going to come into it. I think it's going to be a great movie, and I'm so excited for the future of the Marvel, like MCU. Like, I don't understand why some people watch this and we're like, that's it, Marvel's dead, it's over. Like, there's never gonna be a Marvel movie that's good again. The next Marvel movie that's coming out is Deadpool 3, guys. Like, what? Oh my god. Marvel is so alive and well, and it's thriving, and I'm so excited. But yeah, that was my take on this movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry I rambled on a little bit at the end there. But yeah, that was it for this video, guys. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I'm gonna head out now. Peace out. Bow, bow, bow.
He wanted me to drop a verse, I did this. We planned a day, then we did this. Wanna be in love with the girls with the kisses. Don't give a damn, I'll written this. I like this when I run the distance. I run the 5K and go ballistics. I wanna live within the business. Buying more than what's on the clearances. You're getting big cause I know you're a physicist. I wanna deny this shit, I'm unlimited.